If your organization is experiencing any kind of significant growth right now.
Scaling up, adopting new cloud systems.
Exactly. Acquiring new customers.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably making this one massive, unspoken bet on your future.
And that bet is?
You are betting everything on luck. Pure luck when it comes to cybersecurity. Most companies just hope the one attack that could really destroy them never happens.
And that reliance on luck is, it's exactly why we need to do this deep dive.
Right.
What separates a serious organization from one that's just gambling?
Right.
It isn't the budget, it's the rigor of their process.
Yeah, because most just treat it like an annual chore, right? A fast checkbox for an auditor.
A painful checkbox, and that's not what the source material we're looking at is about.
No, this is a clear blueprint, a repeatable, structured, 5-step workflow that serious organizations use to actually cut their risk.
Not just confirm compliance.
Right. Our mission today is to break this down, to see how moving beyond that checkbox can genuinely reduce your exposure. Maybe by what, 90%?
It's a huge number, but it's realistic. But we have to set the context here. A typical pen test.
What most people think of.
Yeah. It's either an automated scan that spits out a 500-page PDF of alerts.
Useless.
Or it's a quick general test for paperwork. We're talking about a formal vulnerability and penetration testing program, a VAPT.
And the sources highlight something, frankly, terrifying.
The fragility of modern systems, it's shocking. One single misconfigured setting in Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace.
One typo?
One typo in a cloud policy, and your entire network could be exposed.
Okay, so this systematic approach, the material outlines, it has 5 key steps.
Right. It's discovery and scoping, external testing, internal testing, then reporting and communication, and finally, remediation and retesting.
It's an integrated loop.
Exactly. And if you miss any single step, the loop is broken. You've just created a false sense of security.
Okay, let's unpack this system then. Let's start at the foundation. Step 1, discovery and scoping. The material says most organizations are just vague.
And that vagueness is the absolute first critical mistake. Scoping has to define the borders of the battlefield.
Why is that so crucial?
Because if you start testing without a comprehensive scope, you guarantee the attacker will look for flaws on the systems you forgot to include.
That's where the shadow IT lives.
Shadow IT, overlooked cloud configs, that's where they thrive.
But wait, if I'm a small, growing company, isn't the scoping workshop just delaying the real work? Can't I just hand over a network diagram and say, go?
That's a great question. It's about efficiency versus effectiveness, right?
Yeah.
You think you're saving time, but you're sacrificing accuracy. A proper workshop aligns the test with actual measurable business risk. We're not just listing tech, we're inventorying risk assets.
So what are the non-negotiables that have to come out of this first step?
3 core things. First, a comprehensive asset inventory. And this is way harder than it sounds. It's all your internet-facing domains, IPs, VPNs, sure, but also key applications, and critically, every single one of your cloud accounts, AWS, Azure, GCP.
And all those SaaS platforms you plugged in last quarter.
Precisely. The sources mentioned that Indonesian foods worm. That shows how vulnerable you are to third-party code you didn't even know you had.
If it's in your environment, it has to be in the scope.
It must be. Second, you have to identify your critical data. Where are the crown jewels?
Customer info, payment data, IP.
Exactly. This defines what a successful attack actually looks like.
And the final piece is clear objectives.
And they have to be tied to business loss. Not just, are we secure, but can an attacker compromise our web app and get to the production database?
Something specific.
Very specific. And the deliverable here is key. A detailed 2 to 3 page scope document. That piece of paper is what turns a generic checklist into a targeted risk reduction project.
Okay, so that scope defines the target. Now we get into the offensive operations, steps 2 and 3. Let's start with external testing.
Right. This is the attacker on the internet trying to get in. The common mistake here is just running a vulnerability scan.
And you get that huge report with 150 findings.
And your team is just chasing ghosts. The structured approach goes beyond just listing flaws. It has to prove exploitability.
So not just a warning light, but a confirmed emergency.
That's a great way to put it. The methodology is meticulous attack surface mapping first, but the key is manual verification.
The human element.
This is where it pays for itself. Something like 80% of breaches. They're not from some complex 0-day. They're from default credentials or forgotten admin panels.
Things a scanner might flag as low risk.
Exactly. But a skilled human can chain that vulnerability with a configuration flaw to prove real access.
You're proving an attacker can actually get a command shell not just that a port is open.
Yes. The deliverable for step 2 isn't a list. It's a specific proven attack path. Like, from this exposed API, we got a valid token and initial access. That's quantifiable risk management can act on.
And that proven initial access,
Yeah.
that sets up the most critical part, right?
Yeah.
Step 3, internal penetration testing.
It does. This is based on that foundational truth we all have to accept. At some point, an attacker will get in.
The assume breach philosophy.
Assume breach. And this is what's so often ignored or replaced with simple compliance checks like, is antivirus installed?
Which completely misses the point.
It entirely misses the internal risk. Once they're inside, an attacker is quiet, they look legitimate, and they're devastatingly effective.
So how does this systematized internal test give a realistic picture?
It has to start from a realistic foothold. We mimic a successful fish sew, a low-privileged domain account, or a regular user's workstation.
The beachhead.
That's a beachhead. From there, the testers map the internal environment, Active Directory, user privileges, file shares, everything.
And this is where it gets complex, because the goal isn't just to look around.
No, the focus shifts entirely to lateral movement and privilege escalation.
We're moving through the network to that high-value target for step 1.
And this is what makes breaches so hard to detect. Attackers use legitimate tools, PowerShell, remote desktop, to jump from server to server.
Looking for what? Weak passwords.
Weak passwords in config files, misconfigured services with too many permissions, unpatched internal systems, the simple stuff.
And the ultimate prize for the test and for a real attacker is usually domain admin.
Always. Domain admin is game over. The attacker owns everything.
This reminds me of that Shatteray 2.0 botnet mentioned in the sources. It relies on that internal movement to spread.
It's a perfect example of why this isn't theoretical. Internal misconfiguration has a direct impact on operations, on revenue.
So the deliverable here needs to be a story that leadership can actually understand.
It has to be the story of the compromise, a step-by-step narrative. Phase 1, compromised user credentials found here. Phase 2, used to access this server. Phase 3, privilege escalation achieved this way, leading to domain admin.
That chain shows exactly where the defenses are fragile.
And gives you the map to fix it.
Okay, so once that testing is done, we're at step 4, reporting and communication. This is where so many of these things just die.
They end up in a drawer, absolutely. A good report has to be designed for a dual audience. It can't be one size fits all.
So one for leadership, one for the technical team.
Pretty much. For leadership, you need a short, concise executive summary. 1, maybe 2 pages. 0 technical jargon.
Just plain language that quantifies the risk.
Exactly. It has to answer the big questions. Can external attackers get in? Yes or no? And risks are prioritized by business impact revenue, operations, legal, not by some technical score.
And for the technical teams doing the heavy lifting.
They need a prioritized list grouped by that same business impact. And, crucially, clear remediation tags.
Not just high risk.
No. Fix in 24 hours, fix in 7 days, concrete deadlines. The report has to explain what was proven, how to fix it, and how to verify the patch.
Which brings us right to the final step, step 5, remediation and retesting. This is where so many companies just stop.
They stop. They've paid for the knowledge, but they haven't actually reduced the risk. It's crazy.
So the system demands action.
It demands that every critical and high finding becomes a track ticket, with an owner and a due date. This is where security becomes operations.
And done means more than just applying a patch.
Oh, absolutely. Done means the fix is documented and, this is the key, verified by retesting.
You don't wait for next year's test.
You cannot wait. You bring the testers back, you have them attempt the exact same attack chain, and you prove the door is closed. That's the continuous improvement loop. Test, fix, retest, update your baseline.
So this whole 5-step workflow, it's really just one pillar of a much bigger cybersecurity strategy.
That's right. This VAPT process, it feeds directly into a holistic posture. It's supported by things like managed detection and response,
NBR, yeah.
which watches for that subtle lateral movement, and cybersecurity awareness training and GRC frameworks.
The sources gave some really specific examples of this, like the Rapid Lock Hard checklist for Google Workspace and Microsoft 365.
Yes, and that checklist exists for one reason. Because a single cloud misconfiguration can be catastrophic no matter how strong your firewall is.
It really shows that security is end-to-end. I mean, they even mentioned a parent's guide to safeguarding kids online. It's about every digital endpoint.
Every single one.
And the urgency for this kind of rigor is...
Yeah.
It's just underscored by the recent threats mentioned in the sources.
It really drives it home. It's not just the shadow array botnet. It's highly targeted financial attacks like that Chrome Ethereum wallet that steals crypto.
Using the blockchain itself.
And then you have immediate risks like the Evolution click-fix malware spreading stealers. These aren't just theoretical threats. They are a risk to immediate financial assets and customer trust.
This is why the shift in mindset is so vital. It's not a compliance checkbox.
It's a repeatable system to reduce measurable business risk. You're moving from a state of, I hope we're secure, to, I know my exposure, and I have a verified plan to fix it.
So that rigorous workflow discovery, external testing, internal reporting, and then retesting, that is the roadmap.
It is. The fundamental power here is building that realistic, provable attack chain from the outside all the way in. What stands out to you about the sheer complexity required just to map out one potential path an attacker might take?
It's incredible.
It really is. And it raises a crucial question. If the attack path is that complicated for an expert to map and prove, how robust do your continuous 24/7 defenses really have to be to stop it cold without any warning at all?